Welcome back to Canadian Guns.
So today we're going to be comparing three popular hunting rifles. The Savage 110 Hunter, the Remington 700 ADL, and the Howa 1500 Game Pro 2. So the Savage 110 Hunter sells in Canada for around $900 or roughly $780 US. It weighs about 7.5 pounds and it comes chambered in a variety of options. 6.5 Creedmoor, 308 Winchester, 7mm Remington mag, and a lot more. You can get it with either the 22 or 24-inch button rifle barrel. It features the Savage well-known AccuTrigger and AccuStock system. Now the Remington 700 ADL, this one goes for around $800 Canadian or for around $650 US. It also weighs about 7.5 pounds. It comes chambered in all the familiar calibers: 6.5 Creedmoor, 308 Winchester, 243 Win, 223 Remington, and a few others. It sports a 24-inch carbon steel barrel with 5R rifling, a black synthetic stock, and notably no detachable mag. And finally, the Howa 1500 Game Pro 2. This rifle sells for around $800 Canadian or $690 US. It's offered in 223 Remington, 243, 6.5 Creedmoor, 7mm Remington mag, 270, and a lot more. It features a 22-inch cold hammer forged barrel, a Hogue stock, and a floor plate magazine. Now let's head out to the range and see how these rifles shoot. And don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button today. Now in this review, we're using the Sunway Photo T4040 CS tripod. If you're looking for your next great hunting or PRS shooting tripod, one of these might be for you. Alright, now let's get on to the accuracy. So over 7 different boxes of factory ammunition, the Savage 110 Hunter produced an average group size of .604 MOA, with the best single group being a .231. The Howa Game Pro 2 averaged a 1.1 MOA with the best group of .595, and the Remington 700 ADL averaged a 1.22 MOA with the best group being a .374. So in terms of overall average, the Savage clearly took the top spot, but we've got a lot to look at and talk about yet, so let's continue. So let's start with the actions. So the Remington 700 ADL, this rifle uses a 90-degree bolt throw. It's actually really nice and smooth. It's a 2-lug design. It's not super smooth. You know, it does feel a little bit gritty. It has nice jewelling on the bolt itself, but it looks more like it's been painted on. You know, machining wise, it feels just like a regular Remington 700 does. Now, this one doesn't come with a rail on it. You will have to buy a rail, so it kind of sucks on that point, but what can you do? The other thing is, it doesn't have a floor plate mag or even a drop-out mag. That kind of sucks on that. So if you're gonna buy one of these, you probably should have a 2-piece rail instead, just for the fact so you can load it and you can unload it. With the rail on it, it cycles no problem at all. You know, feeding rounds, ejecting rounds, there's no problem with it. But, you know, it could get in the way, especially if you're feeding rounds into it or trying to pull them back out at the end of the day. It's kind of a letdown on that. Now the Howa Game Pro 2 also has a 90-degree bolt throw. Let's see if I can get this up here. It's a 2-lug design. This one is actually a little bit whizzy. I don't know if you can hear that. It does seem to drag a bit right down there, so it's not super perfect. It cycles rounds okay. You know, there's no problem feeding or ejecting rounds with this rifle. But there is that whizzy sound, which is kind of odd. It does come with a floor plate mag on it, which is nice when you're hunting. I put a 1-piece rail on this one, even though it did have a 2-piece rail. The more I think about it, also just like the 700, I should have left a 2-piece rail on it. It would have been better off, especially for feeding rounds. But other than that, there's no problem with this. Like I said, it cycles rounds with no problem at all, but there is that, it's very whizzy. Now we have the Savage 110 Hunter. So the Savage 110 Hunter also is a 2-lug floating head design. It also has a 90-degree throw on that. It's very, very smooth. Like, this thing is like crazy smooth. It has nice jewelling on the bolt body itself. This one is a dropout mag. Their mag is a steel mag. This one's a 3-round mag. Very nice. I do like it. Nice and heavy. Nice and, heavy duty. Easy to eject. This one, I originally had a problem feeding rounds with this one. I had a couple rounds get stuck in the gun. Now, that could have been because of the factory ammo. That one specific brand of ammo. It could have been a problem with that. But at the same time, when I took it back at the end of the day, I scoped out the inside of the chamber. I found a small burr on it. Once I got that out, the gun's been cycling fine ever since. After that, the gun's been feeding and ejecting rounds with no problem at all. So it could have been a combination of needing to break the gun a little bit, get rid of that burr, and factory ammo nowadays, it kind of sucks. I've come across some really bad ammo that just won't chamber into guns. I have a 7 PRC right now that some ammo just won't even get into the gun properly. It's terrible with the factory ammo. But other than that, this is really nice. I do like the Savage. So the Savage wins for smoothness of the bolt, but the downside is the tolerance of the chamber and maintenance is kind of a hassle. Now the triggers. So the Savage 110 Hunter features the Accu trigger. It is adjustable from about 2.5 pounds to 6 pounds. Out of the box, this was breaking right about 3.5 pounds, I do believe it was. It's very consistent. There's no creep or slop to the trigger. It's actually really nice. It's right there. I do like the trigger on this one. Now the Remington 700 ADL. That trigger is not adjustable on this one. This one breaks right around 4 pounds. It's right there. It's not bad. It's very crisp. There's no creep to it whatsoever. But if you don't like the trigger on it, you can always swap it out and adjust it to whatever you want. I would have liked to have seen like an adjustable trigger on this one, but they have something on the adjustment screw that you're not supposed to take off. It's like goo or something like that. Now the Howa Game Pro 2 has the hacked 2-stage trigger system right here. Now this one out of the box broke right around 3.3 pounds. There's no creep to it. It doesn't feel sloppy or anything like that. It's actually pretty nice. You can adjust this one, but you will have to take off the entire stock to do it. That's a bit of a pain. So trigger wise, the Howa probably has about the best trigger there is out of the box. Probably won't stand up if you get an aftermarket trigger. But out of the box, the Howa's got a really nice trigger. Now the stocks. So the Savage has the AccuTax stock on it. Now this has a mini aluminum chassis inside of it, which helps maintain the rigidity of it. It's actually really nice. It's got, sling swivels underneath of it. It's got a good grip on it. It doesn't touch the barrel on either side. It's very nice and rigid. It does have the adjustable comb height, adjustable length of pull, and the butt pad is really nice and soft and squishy. It's a nice grip feeling stock on the Savages. Now, the Remington 700, on the other hand, it's just a plastic stock. It's not really bedded or anything like that. It's very plain Jane. For the price of it, they could have made it better. It's just molded plastic. It does have sling swivels on the bottom, but they're pretty basic. The butt pad is sort of squishy, but it's plain Jane. There's not a lot going to it. I wish they would have made this a lot better for the price of the rifle. Now, the Howa Game Pro 2, this has the Hogue stock. It's got the rubber texture on the outside of it. It is bedded and pillared. It's really, really nice. It does have the sling swivels on the bottom. It's nice and flat on the bottom here, so if you want to put it, on a bag, put it onto a fence or something like that, you can do it with this one with no problem. It would have been nice to see like an adjustable comb height or a bit of a comb height on it. Would have been better. The butt pad is also very nice and squishy on this one. It just feels really nice. The only thing is it does add to the weight of the rifle, I find. But it's really nice and solid. It doesn't touch the barrel on either side. And there's very, very little flex to the front of the rifle on top of that. Very, very nice stocks. Now, warranty-wise. Now, all three of them have a warranty. The Savage and the Howa both have lifetime warranties on them. The Remington, on the other hand, that's where it gets kind of tricky. Prior to the bankruptcy, any rifles back then, basically Rem Arms is not warrantying them. Now, after the bankruptcy, it's kind of a gray area from what I've heard about getting your rifle warranted by them. But on the good part, there's so many aftermarket parts for a Remington 700, you can swap 90% of this rifle out. That'd probably be cheaper in the end for you. So which should I choose? So in third, I'm going to have to say it's going to have to be the Remington 700 ADL. Just for the fact that for the price of what you're paying, you really don't get all that much for the rifle. Like, there's no floor plate mag, there's no detachable mag. You don't even get a rail with it, which it kind of sucks. Plus, the stock is pretty cheap, especially for what you're paying for. Second, I'm going to have to say the Savage 110 Hunter. Now, I did have an issue with feeding rounds, having a round get stuck in the gun, but now that's kind of subsided. I think it needs to be broken in a little bit. It could have been a one-off, or it could have been just the ammo, because like I said, factory ammo lately sucks. So first, I'm going to have to say it's going to be the Howa Game Pro 2. I love the Hogue stock. It's built like a tank. It shoots good. And what else can you ask for? So there you go, guys. There's my review of the Remington 700 ADL versus the Howa 1500 Game Pro 2 and the Savage 110 Hunter. If you like the video on the channel so far, smash that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the bell, and we'll see you next time at Canadian Guns. Bye for now.